The best roster in the league that doesn't have the knowledge that they have a really high-end quarterback arguably is Minnesota. I mean, Detroit, great roster. Goff can sling it. Philadelphia, great roster. We know Jalen can play. Baltimore, great roster. Kansas City, a great roster. Quarterbacks. Minnesota's got a great roster. They don't know if they have the right quarterback. And the one thing I will say, and I watched J.J. McCarthy, I've always said this. I don't think Michigan, like Alabama with Saban, kind of prepared him for the NFL. Always played with a lead. Rarely got hit. Great running game. Didn't throw a ton. Didn't have to get in shootouts. Always had the best coach and roster. I thought he was okay. It does feel like this entire preseason has been about him gaining his confidence. And I think self-doubt is something we all have. But for quarterbacks and surgeons, when you go into the emergency room, I'm not looking for that. I need almost a delusional level of playing confidence. Not arrogance, but real confidence. And, I think they're trying to build him up. And I think that's a tough spot. It's a very good roster. Again, it may not be Philly or Baltimore. It's close. It's definitely in that Denver area where you're like, not a lot of holes. Yeah, a lot. And maybe missing no number one receiver in Denver. Maybe they're missing, I don't know. Do they have a number one corner in Minnesota? Maybe, maybe not. But they're not missing much. Here was J.J. McCarthy after this weekend's preseason game.
I feel like KO just thought of this as checking another box. Like, he really wanted to see the operation and just, the fundamentals and doing the simple things at a high level. And I feel like we did that today. It was a huge kind of growing rep that I felt like, just injects confidence in my veins going to the next one.
So there's a little bit, it feels like a little bit of a baby steps process. This is not a baby steps coach. It's not a baby steps roster. It's not a baby steps receiving court. This is a Super Bowl roster. Detroit, Philadelphia are Super Bowl rosters. Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, those are Super Bowl rosters. I think Minnesota is. And so, Kevin O'Connell, we already know they were willing to sign Sam Darnold for the right number. So that's pretty obvious. Now that has been reported. They told Sam, right number, we'll re-sign you. He got $15 million more a year, or $10 million more a year with Seattle, no state tax in Washington. That's a good move. Sam should have taken that and be the guy without somebody breathing down his neck. But this is a Super Bowl roster.
Yeah, I know that's going to trigger so many Vikings fans because they refuse to accept that Sam Darnold was even remotely considered, but he was. It's okay to take baby steps with J.J. McCarthy. He's an incredibly young quarterback. And this is his first year starting. He's essentially a rookie. He's coming off an injury. That makes sense. And the Vikings were always in a tough position with that because it was like, we have an amazing roster. We do have a Super Bowl caliber roster. And we can go with an actual veteran who we had an amazing year with and that we can try to build off of. Yeah, it ended not how we wanted it to, but there were problems with our O-line, et cetera, et cetera. Now we're going to have year 2, continuity. There's a lot to build off of. Didn't happen. They're moving on. And they have to choose between that or a J.J. McCarthy where they're like, this guy's going to be raw. We drafted him at 21 years old. 21. Can't even grow a beard. This is the way it's going to be. And there is a fundamental difference between a veteran and a rookie. It's light years of a difference. Especially when you're not this physical, athletic monster, which J.J. McCarthy is not. That's not what he's known for. So his skill set, how he will be special in this NFL, will be something that takes time and needs to be developed, especially because he doesn't have the lightning quick speed, the massive arm, the body who can just barrel over defensive players. So he can't rely on that. There's no reliance on that. And so again, what makes him special, his decision making, his processing, his anticipation, his execution, him kind of just being what I always refer to as like kind of like the ultimate extension of your coach and really executing the offense exactly how your coach wants it done, which is its own superpower. Make no mistake about it. It's like that will take time. It doesn't take time to have speed. If I'm really fast and I can outrun the players on the field, that doesn't need to be developed. If I have a massive arm, man, that I can just let it rip 50, 60 yards down the field, no problem, let's go. It's like, typically doesn't necessarily need to be developed. I need to know when I make the throw. I need to know, the type of throw maybe to make in that given moment, as they talked about earlier in the show about having different. I think they use the analogy golf clubs in a golf bag. I always say tools in a toolbox. We're all a bunch of tools. This is what's interesting, because we look at JJ McCarthy and we just don't want to leave any room for him to grow. And it really doesn't make sense, because we have quarterbacks who are drafted a little bit older, have a lot of college snaps, et cetera, et cetera. And we say like those quarterbacks they're ready to play. That there's like you either can play or you can't. That you've played enough football, you're mature enough, you're old enough. You better be able to show what you can do. And if that's the case, when you draft a 21-year-old quarterback, there needs to be some room to grow. There needs to be some room to develop. There just has to be. Otherwise, you wouldn't single out the older quarterbacks. It wouldn't really make sense. It's like saying if you got 2 legs, you can jump. It's like, well, yeah, it's a given. So I don't get it. Why we're not leaving room for this quarterback to grow. And again, the pressure is because of how great they were and how great this roster is. And we talked about this. Like, this is a real decision. This is a real decision that the Minnesota Vikings are tasked with. Because they do have a roster that can hit the ground running. And it's okay to accept that their quarterback may not be called up to the quality of their roster just quite yet. Like, that's okay. I'm accepting of that for a 22-year-old coming off of a major injury and hasn't been able to play football for a year. Like, he's in a wildly brutal situation here. It's a tough one. And so why would Kevin O'Connell not be smart and take this little by little? But he has to be careful. He can't go too slow because he owes it to the team, not JJ McCarthy. So again, it's a balancing act that Kevin O'Connell has to figure out. But this idea that like, they should have played him more, you needed to do more, this or that, like, that's the beauty of having Kevin O'Connell as your head coach. It's up to him. And this is what I had said like months ago when they were like actually trying to figure out like, what are they doing? Is it Kevin O'Connell? Is it Sam Darnold? Like, what's the story here? It was like, I was like, the great thing is that it sounds to me, based off the reporting that I'm hearing, is that it's really all going to come down to Kevin O'Connell. And it really is just like, in Kevin you trust. You have the great offensive head coach, the guy who really understands quarterbacks. You're trusting him. And even if it ends up being the wrong decision or it just doesn't work out, it's like, at least it was made by the right guy. Nobody stepped in and made the wrong decision for them. And I feel better about that. But yeah, it's going to take a minute or two, but I don't think the Vikings need, I don't think JJ McCarthy though needs to be a top 5 quarterback for this team to do damage. I mean, listen, no matter how great your roster is, in order to like legitimately win a Super Bowl, unless your roster is just absolutely dominant. You have the most dominant defense we've ever seen. They're just averaging, giving up like 15 points and a ton of turnovers. And the offense is just like, man, all you do is just got to throw the ball 2 yards and your wide receivers are just ripping it. And your run game is just, you got Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley at the same time. I mean, like, you're just, you just, no one can stop you. Your O-line gives your quarterback 15 minutes per snap. Like, it's good. Then it's like, all right, I guess you could probably have like a pretty, you probably went with the backup quarterback. But if you want to win a Super Bowl, your quarterback's got to be pretty good, man. He's got to be good. You might not need to rely on him to throw the ball 30, 45 times a game and rely on him to scramble and go off script and do all the magical stuff. But you're going to need him to make some big plays. You're going to need him to make some big throws. Brock Purdy went to a perfect team, perfect roster in, 22 and 23. And he had his life made easier with Shanahan and Christian McCaffrey and Debo's balling at the time and Kittle's balling at the time. All that stuff. He still had to make big plays and big throws and had to step up big time. And it still wasn't enough. So, like, you need someone who can play, whether you want to say someone is truly a top 10 quarterback. In order for them to win a Super Bowl, they have to at least play like a top 10 quarterback, at least for the season, at least like throughout the playoffs. Teams are not winning. Like, anytime we use some of these quarterbacks, like a Nick Foles, for instance, right? That Nick Foles is such a go-to guy of like, well, he wasn't a top quarterback and he won the Super Bowl. But in the NFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl, he played like he was literally a top 5 quarterback of all time. He played better than Peyton Manning did in Super Bowls. I mean, let that sink in. So you always need to have great performances. So, like, that's why these conversations get, I feel like we veer and get a little off track here, honestly. But I don't know. I just don't think it's fair to say that this, first year starter, this 22-year-old quarterback needs to step in and show that he can like lead this team to a Super Bowl, or if he doesn't, then it's like, this was a problem, this was that. It's like, no. I'm excited to see this. I anticipate some struggles. I anticipate them to not just get off to a 14-2 start. Like, that's probably not going to happen. But like I also keep saying, they don't need JJ McCarthy to just be on top of the world, just balling out left and right, and they will still be able to win a ton of games. That's why I keep asking everyone, do the thought experiment. If JJ McCarthy is just pretty good, yeah, he's pretty good. That's not bad game. If he's just that, they should win a ton of games. But yeah, it's we still have to give him room to not be perfect. And it in one preseason game last year, everyone was like, "Oh my God, you see that throw? Unbelievable, amazing." And then in this preseason game, he goes 4 for 7 for 30 yards, makes a pretty nice throw. A couple bad ones, again, hardly a perfect game. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, well, come on. It's we keep swinging too far in the extremes. I'm starting to love preseason more and more because of the opinions that people start to form. I find it fascinating. I said this yesterday, one of my previous videos, talking about like, when did preseason become when did people start to form such strong opinions based off of preseason? Seemingly the football world did it without me knowing, because I just thought we all collectively agreed, preseason only matters so much. And now it's like everyone's talking about it like it's week 1. Like, that's the way how people are really having these conversations, like it's week 1, week 2, week 3. And I'm just like, wait a second. When did that happen? I didn't know that was a thing. No one told me. I didn't realize. I'd be skipping these games if I wasn't making videos and stuff, and if I didn't love football so much. Like, I'd be not really watching. I'll be honest with you. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch the highlights, I guess. Like, I'll watch JJ throw the ball a couple times. Oh, he had a good throw. Just show me that play. I don't care about anything else. Like that. I mean, that's normally how I would handle preseason. If there was something a little bit like really entertaining or something, like a Shador Sanders type story, he's gonna play like pretty much the whole game. I'm like, all right, I'll check that out. Let's see what you got. But like, and I obviously watched this game, and I watched every play from JJ McCarthy. I think he looked comfortable. And I mean, I'm wrapping up this video right now, but I think he looked comfortable. Again, it wasn't perfect. Missed some throws, absolutely, but he looked comfortable. He didn't look sped up. He looked strong. He looked agile. He looked mobile. I mean, there's just only so much that I'm expecting for someone to be able to do in 7 throws. I mean, it just is what it is. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about JJ McCarthy? Do you think he needs to be getting more reps? Are you concerned about his impact on this team and what this team can achieve? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.